Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we will again get started with wherever we left off. We 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 worked on Git. Now we will try to run our test from Jenkins. But before doing that, we have few other changes to do. Right. So one of the changes is basically um, we have only configured our test to run on local. Right. So if you notice, we have only one configuration here. So we are just getting the browser name. We are testing whether it is Chrome or Edge, and then we are trying to run it. But in reality we also need to run our test on remote, right? So we have already seen what is Selenium grid, how we can configure that and all that, but we haven't done that configuration here in the framework, right? So how we can do that? One such case is simple way is you can add a if condition here, and then if it is remote, you can do this, and if it is basically local, then you can do that. So first let's do this very simple way. Let's go here and add a configuration here, like let's say run mode. Okay, if this run mode is local, it will run on local, and if it is remote, and it will run on Docker or cloud. Okay, maybe we can add comments, so available options like local, remote. Okay, so we can mention the available options here so that people can understand while changing it. So Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. Okay, these are all the available options. Okay, for this particular one, the available options are yes or no. Right, so this is how we can do it. Once we added something to the this particular config properties, now what we have to do, we have to go to the framework config, and then we will add it, right? So this basically gives you back string and run mode, right? So run mode, string and run mode. Now we have mapped it. Now we will try to use it wherever we want. Let's go to the driver class, and instead of just passing get driver of browser, we also need to pass the run mode. So we'll get the run mode config factory dot get config dot run mode. Right. So we get the run mode, we will pass it to this. Okay. So now it will throw errors. Let's go here, and then let's also accept string run mode. Okay. Now we can do some if conditions here. So if run mode dot equals ignore case, and then we will tell local. If it is local, it's let it be like this. Okay, let it be like this. So else if run mode equals ignore case, and then we say remote, and then we want to customize this with the help of, and even inside the remote we have some if conditions, right? So we will copy them. So for example, I'll copy a couple of these, and then I'll paste it here. So if it is remote and Chrome, then what we need to do, we need to tell we don't need this WebDriver manager to initialize that. All we need to do is basically we need to say decide capabilities, right? So you say decide capabilities, new decide capabilities, right? And we will just tell capabilities dot set browser name, and the browser name is basically Chrome, right? And same way we will, sorry, we'll cut it. If it is this, and then we will put it. If it is H, we will say H. If for other cases, you can also mention Firefox. Okay. In all these cases, once you are done with this, we will tell driver equal to new remote web driver, and then we need to pass the path, right? So the URL where this Selenium hub is located. So now new URL, and this is the URL, comma the decide capabilities, right? The capabilities, right? And this will basically throw me error. So add exception, or you can. I'm using sneaky throws from Lombok, so you can just add it. But in your case, you just throw the exception, okay? And then okay, maybe I'll cut it, and then I'll keep it outside so that it's easy. So what we are doing is, if it is remote, first we are setting up the design capabilities. We are getting the object for that. If it is Chrome, we are setting browser as Chrome. If it is Edge, we are setting the browser Edge. And in both the cases, we want to run it on the same URL. But this URL, we cannot hard code it here because sometimes you want to change it. At that time, what you have to do is basically, let's go to the configured properties, and then we'll say uh, remote URL. Okay, remote URL is basically the place where you want to run it, right? And this is the IP address most probably. So for now, I will give HTTP localhost 4444 and then /wd/up. Okay, but this is quite configurable. Anyone can change it, right? If they want to run it on different endpoints, they can change it here, right? So now I will also go here and then add something, remote string remote URL, right? Sorry. Yeah. Once this is done, let's go to the driver factory and we will say config factory dot get config.remote URL. Okay, so now everything is done. This is still throwing errors. Yeah, we'll say it's null. Good. So now if it is local, it will do all these things. If it is remote, it will do all these things, right? And for now we have it in local. Okay, you can test it by running it in remote. But the problem with this approach is this is having a lot of if conditions. This can be quite optimized at the later point of time, but for now we are all getting started, so you can use this. Okay, once you were comfortable doing all that, maybe after that you can split it. Okay, how, you know within this factory design pattern, what you can do is, you can basically, if it is local, you can just tell driver factory, or you can say local driver factory dot get driver, and then you can process the browser. Okay, here you can say like the remote web driver factory dot get browser, and then you can pass this. So whatever we have done, so first we thought here we are doing a lot of if conditions, then we used a driver factory and then get driver method and pass this, right? So all the logics were now inside the driver factory. The same way, now this is really a big. So what we can do, we can create local driver factory, one more driver factory, and then pass the browser. So that will take care of this whole thing. For this, we will tell remote driver factory, and then we can do it. Maybe I will do it so that let's do it. So let's create a new class called as local driver factory. Okay, and this particular driver factory, and what I'm going to do, I'll have a public static mm, web driver, and then get local driver. Okay, and then if somebody is passing me a browser name, I will do take care of that. Okay, now, so let's copy the code from here. So if whole code, Control X and paste it here, and simply say okay, good. Okay, now we can say web driver code null. Okay, initialize this. And at the end of the day, all we want to do is basically a return statement. So return driver, right? That's it. So this is basically how we can do this. So I can add final here. You can also add private constructors, private local driver factory. So now the logic is now moved to a different place, right? So that it's more readable. Tomorrow, if somebody wants to use it, they can use it. So now let's go here and then simply say, if the run mode is local, we will just need local driver factory, okay, dot get local driver, and then pass the browser name, or whatever the browser name we have, we will just pass it to this guy. This guy will take care of all that thing. So this will basically return me a driver, right? Okay, we're just moving the logic to somewhere else so that it can be easily maintained. Okay, now if the mode is remote, I will again cut this whole thing. Okay, we don't need all that. Okay, Control X, and then what I'm going to do, I'll create one more, let's say Java class, and this Java class basically going to be remote driver factory, remote driver factory. And then this can be termed as a final one, and we'll also have private is basically remote driver factory, and then we'll public static uh, web driver, right? So we also want the web driver reference from here, and then get remote driver, right? And then if somebody is passing me the browser name, browser, I will just use it. Okay, Control V. So you can basically do copy it. You can basically replace, and we can also say web driver equal to null. Okay, first it is null. After that, we are setting up the desired capabilities. If it is Chrome, we are setting the browser as Chrome. All that is fine. And once it is all done, we will basically return it. Okay, maybe we will directly return it instead of assigning it to some variable. Okay, and then we can also remove this. So you can add the method exception to the method signature, or you can use try catch block. In my case, I have external plugin called Lombok, which I can use. So I will basically, yeah, do this. Okay, so now everything looks fine. So now I will say driver equal to remote driver factory dot get remote driver, and then we'll pass the browser. So browser is this. Okay, so look, our code is previously very messy. Now it is very understandable. Just two if conditions. Okay, if it is local, this guy is getting from some other class. Even this is really good for your maintenance, right? I'm not using any complex logic. The same if conditions, we are just moving it to a different place so that it can be managed in a better way, right? People don't do this, so they write up a messy code. You all can see the difference. Previously it was really messy, very hard to read, very hard to understand, but now it's more easy, right? So this is the use case, a perfect use case of how you can refactor your code, right? Good. After doing some changes, we'll also have to verify whether this is working. Let's try to quickly run it and then check. So let's basically run it. So we are not going to run it in remote mode. Maybe you can try it, but we have already done that. So it is telling we couldn't find com dot this particular package. Let's go there in the driver. Cannot find symbol config factory. Why? Okay, this is all good. Why it is not running? Let's try to run it again. Com dot cannot find symbol driver manager. Package tmb.enums does not exist. But this all is still there, right? tmb.enums is there, but why it is telling it's not there? Maybe I was basically doing some playing with the project structure and all that. So this is 11, this is fine. So maybe that's the issue. Okay, and then let's go here, and then I was doing some changes. This is what causing all these issues. Let's try to run it again. I don't know why this isn't working. So reload from disk. So this is the place we have this import already, but I don't know why it is causing error, right? That is fine. Very strange. Okay, cannot find symbol. So what I can basically do is can there is something called as local history where you can go and see what you have done and what have changed. So this is the local driver factory that we have added. Okay. I don't have any other views apart from this. Okay, anyways, in your case it will work. Okay, so please don't worry about these things. Okay, we have just added an if condition and it should work. Okay, otherwise we need to do a git pull. So we have the code already in the git, right? So we can pull it, but if I pull it, this changes might go away, the local driver factory and remote driver factory. So what you can do, you can just basically make a copy of it, and then I also have remote driver factory that I will basically make a copy, and then I paste it here. Now after this, let me do a git pull. So which means it will try to pull the latest code from this particular thing. And uh, so my file is still there. Okay, let's try to run it now and then check. Okay, whatever. So git pull, modify options. Rebase inclusion, rebase. So all files are up to date. Okay, whatever guys, so this seems to be causing some problems. Let's try one last time, otherwise we will ignore and move on. Okay, okay, we will move on. Okay, so in the meantime, let's create a very simple project now. Okay, so that we can basically work with it. For now I will use java 8. We don't want to cause any issues. Let's say a sample project, we will try to run it from Jenkins and then we'll see how this can fix. uh, I'll say new window. So I have created a very simple, Maven project, and we will try to run this whole thing from Jenkins. Okay. In the pom.xml, we need, let's say, test.ng dependencies, right? So we have dependency from test.ng, and the version is, let's say, latest version. Yeah. And then apart from that, let's say new, so um, and then we'll have test, let's say login test. Okay. I will create a very simple test. This is because this isn't working. Okay, so there is some problem, that's why it is not working. So we will create a new project. Alt and insert my test change. Public void test. Okay, so we have a test, and then let's annotate with test change. Okay, let's reload the Maven project. Maybe the okay, now let's import the class from test change. So we have one class. So if we want to run it from test.ng.xml, what we do, we create the test.ng.xml. We will reload the project, and then this is the test.ng.xml that we have. We are trying to run this. So far we have been running this only with the help of, say, okay, with the help of test.ng.xml, right? Yeah, so good. So far we were running like this, but going forward we are going to use Maven commands to run them. Okay, we are not going to run it with the help of test.ng. So this is running absolutely fine. Imagine this is the same test case we are running in our Selenium framework with all the data providers and all that stuff. Okay, So now what I'm going to do, in order to run this via Maven command, we need to add a plugin to this pom.xml. Okay, I will give the syntax of this plugin, or you can basically find it from my uh, GitHub. Okay, so let's go and search for Amazon assignment with Docker support. Okay, go to this particular framework, and here you can go to the pom.xml. See, nobody remembers these plugins, guys. Okay, don't worry about this. We are going to create a profile, and then we'll have a plugin in that. I'll explain what we are doing. So we are going to create a new Maven profile. Okay, this Maven profile name is all. Let's say this is name is smoke. Okay, if you want to run regression suite, we can name it as regression or whatever we want. Okay, let's also have a plugin that is called as Maven Surefire plugin, which is basically the way how we can relate your pom.xml to a testng.xml. Here I am telling, whenever I am running my pom.xml, you run or trigger the testng.xml, which is in the root directory, right? If it is in different folder, you can give the folder path here. Okay, you can give the folder path here, but here it is in the root directory, so I can just tell testng.xml. Okay, let's reload this Maven. And now what we need to do, we go to the terminal, and then we just need to type Maven clean test, okay, hyphen p all. Okay, this is hyphen p all. Okay, what this mvn means, mvn means we are going to run a Maven command. What is clean? Okay, clean means whatever we have in the target directory. That means whatever the code that we have compiled and generated the dot class files tree, this target folder will be removed. So let's first run Maven clean alone. If I run this, it will remove all the target directory. Okay, let's reload. So if you notice, all the target directory is gone, which means your old compiled code is gone. If you have made new changes, it will again recompile and produce the dot class files. Okay, good, this is done. And then if I run test, it means it is also a Maven goal, which will run all the test cases, okay, configured. Now we are mentioning, hey, you don't want to run it by default, run only the profile that is matching uh, smoke. Okay, this is a smoke, right? So we can say hyphen p smoke. When you say hyphen p smoke, it will try to run a Maven profile that is smoke. Okay, and here we are mentioning testng.xml. So the smoke will call this profile. This profile will internally call the testng.xml. The testng.xml knows which test to run, so this will run the test. Okay, let's try to run it. So you notice it has ran the test. In automation, if you have browser opens and all that, it will open the browser and do all this thing. But here we are just simply running a simple test. Okay, in your case, it will run the browser and all that, and then it will produce the reports, right? Good. Now if you want to have a different testng.xml, let's say I have copied this. Let me make a copy of it, and then let me paste it. Let's name it as testng regression.xml. Okay, I have another testng.xml version where I will have another additional classes. Maybe here I will just run the same test 2 times. Okay, something like this. And then it is showing error because I don't need to denote all that. So maybe the same class itself I want to run 2 times. So this is the change requirement. But if you have multiple classes, you can mention all the regression tests. Okay, here. Now I will also go and create one more profile. So let's create a one more profile. So let's copy this profile. Let's create one more profile, and we'll say this is regression. If someone wants to run regression, we will just call testng hyphen regression. Okay, so by this way, if you have more ways, okay, if you want to create more profiles, you can do that. Now I want to run regression, not the smoke test. Then I can say hyphen p Maven clean test hyphen p and then regression. Okay, you can just give the profile name. The profile name is regression. Okay, I will just so okay, this is how it is. Let's run it. It will run the same test 2 times. Now it will run the regression test. So if you notice, it is basically, so we are having maybe that's why it's not working. So we are trying to run the same test, right? So it is not taking it, it seems. So yeah, in if you have a different test, let's quickly create one more test. Home page test, okay. And then we'll try to create alt and insert test method, and this is home test. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, let's go here, and then we'll say class com.test.home page, home pages. Okay, and then let's try to run this again. It should run 2 tests now. Let's see, because we are running the regression, right? So if you notice, it ran 2 tests. Okay, one is printing testing 1 2 3, one is printing testing. Okay, so this is how we can decide which test to run, which test not to run, by creating Maven profiles. Okay, good. Now once you can run the test from Maven commands from here, you can run this test from the Jenkins itself. Okay, first let's understand what is Jenkins and try to do setup. Okay, now no one if you want to run the test, okay, you can run it in your terminal. Okay, but let's assume your product owner wants to run the test. What happens? Okay, he needs to set up GitHub, he needs to set up with this IntelliJ, or at least he needs to pull the project from the GitHub. He needs to have Maven configured, Java configured, and all that. Okay, and he may also have Java 16 or 17 version, but you are using Java 8, so there can be compatibility issues as well. So this is the problem. And most importantly, you want to do a nightly run. Every night at 10 p.m. you want to run the test. How will you schedule it? Will you wake up at 10 p.m. and trigger the test? No, that is not possible. Maybe you want to say every time a developer commits a code to their GitHub, you want to run the test. Okay, how will you do that? Will you tell your developer, hey, whenever you are committing the code, let me know. I will wake up at that time and then I will trigger the test. That is not possible, right? We are in digital technology where we have tools for everything. So Jenkins is one such tool, right? So it can help us to schedule jobs, build jobs, and do things on its own. Okay, we don't have someone to monitor it. Okay, in order to install Jenkins, as I already mentioned yesterday, you would have downloaded Jenkins war download. Okay, for Windows. Okay, if you are using Windows, you can go here and then download it. Okay, you can download it from here. Okay, you have for different versions as well. Okay, if you want Mac OS, you can also do that. You can also do brew install Mac Jenkins. Okay, so yeah, it depends. Whatever you want, you can set it. Once you download this, you have to go to the place where your thing is located. So let's go to Lee softwares. In my case, it is here, the Jenkins.war. So I'll open a command prompt here, and I'll simply say Java -jar Jenkins.war. Okay, this is the command that you need to write, so that we are trying to start this Jenkins.war file. Okay, once this is started, it will trigger you with this kind of logs. Okay, this kind of logs will come and it will get started. Since it is already installed in my machine, so it might not take a lot of time, and then it will directly land me into the home screen. Okay, so now this is saying your Jenkins is fully up and running. Let's go and check localhost 8080. It will run on localhost 8080. Guys, in real time, your company will have a dedicated server to run this thing, but in my case, I am just running it on my local host. Okay, your company will have a dedicated server up and running. So I have my own credentials. I can log in now. Okay, in your case, you might be asked with a different screen and all. There are a lot of changes. Okay, let's first sign in and then let's see what's happening. So we have signed in. So there are one step that is pending, which is how we can set up the plugins, how we can do all that. Okay, which I will come back again do it. But for now, just understand how we are going to create a job and then try to run it from Jenkins. Okay, or maybe I'll cover the installation part also. So what I can do, since I have it already installed, I have to remove all these things very complex. So there is a way that where you can run your Docker, sorry, Jenkins in Docker itself. So you can just say Docker image for Jenkins, Docker image for Jenkins. This is just to demonstrate you guys how to install. Okay, how to install, how to configure plugins and all that. Okay, so I don't want to uninstall and install my Jenkins. Instead, I'm just creating a new Jenkins in different thing. Okay, let's try to pull Jenkins. Okay, they will have something like this. Let's try to pull Jenkins. Let's try to create a new Windows terminal. I just make sure my Docker is up and running. This is just to showcase how to, how the login screen will look like for you. Okay, nothing else. Okay, Docker pull. I think I have them handy. So it's trying to pull the latest tag. Okay, many must unknown error response from daemon. Okay, very, very bad. I need to restart the machine, then only it will work. Very bad. I cannot restart the machine for now. Okay. Okay, we will come to the installation part, or you can do the installation part by watching some YouTube video also. So what I'm going to do is basically the after installation part. Okay, maybe I'll create a separate video on that, and then I will upload into our Selenium automation framework itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm just trying to create a new job, and let's name this framework as test Jenkins. Okay, something like this. It's going to be a freestyle project. There are a lot of things that you can see, but just choose the freestyle project, which is comes by default, and click on OK. Okay, now this has a lot of things here, but what I want to do is I want to run the sample project. Okay, from Jenkins. Okay, for that you can run it from local, but that is not what we want. We want to push this code to GitHub. From GitHub we will pull the code into Jenkins, and then we will run it. Okay, for that we are just going to share this project on GitHub. Okay, it's loading all the information. We are now first sharing it on the GitHub test. I'll just make it as test Jenkins, and then I click on share. So it is telling what and all files you want. I don't want this idea files, and then I don't want this target directory because this is not needed for us. I want the remaining things. Okay, target directory is just .class files. We don't need it. Okay, remaining files I'll just say add, and then so now this is shared. Okay, so this is the project that we have. We are trying to run from Jenkins. Okay, so now let's copy this link and let's go to the Jenkins. Now we can, so if you want to tell something, this is test project, something like this. Okay, you can give us whatever you want, and it is telling it is giving you a lot of options, but we are going to do source code management. We are pulling the source code from Git. Okay, it is asking, okay, you are telling you are going to pull the code from Git. What is the repository URL? We are saying this is the URL. Just remove the .git alone, and then click outside. It'll go away. Okay, suppose if it is a private repository, you need to mention the username and password for your GitHub. Okay, but for now this is a public repository, so anyone can pull it. And then it is asking which branch you want to run. Okay, in my case my branch name is basically main branch, right? So let's change this to main branch. Okay, that's it guys. So we are done with all that, and at the end we want to run one command to run the test, right? So for that, go to build section, click on invoke top level Maven target, and then just tell clean test. You don't have to type mv in here, but remaining things you can give. I can just say -p smoke. That's it. Once you do that, just click on apply and save it. Now you can just click on build now. It should basically pull the code from here. You can click on this. So you see, it is trying to pull the code from this particular project. Okay, from the github.com Amazon Shaktivel, it is trying to pull the project. So it is trying to run something and it has run, right? Look, the test case is ran now. We have one test run and that is also getting passed, right? This is what we want to do, right? We want to run a test from Jenkins. So this basically pulled this code from Jenkins, and if you notice, this is ran the command maven clean test hyphen p smoke, right? This is the command that we mentioned. Let's say I want to run regression. So what I have to do, I can go to configure here, and I can simply say, instead of hyphen p smoke, I will just say regression. Apply, save, build now. It'll do the job again. So now you can click on this. So it is trying to pull the same code, doing everything again. So you can see the what is the latest code, what is the latest commit you have. Okay. And if you notice, two test ran, two of them got passed, everything looks fine, right? Now this is quite tricky. Like you have to go into this and you have to change the values here manually, but there are ways where you don't have to change this manually. Okay, you can simply say uh, this project is parameterized. Okay, and then you can add a parameter. Let's say this is a choice parameter. So this is test type. Test type, you can say test type as choices are smoke. So you have two choices: either you can run smoke or you can run regression. Okay, that's it. Once you say this, you can go to this place, and then you can say inject build variables. And here, see what we are going to do is, instead of we coming here and then changing it manually, we are going to give a drop down option. Okay, or choice radio button, something like that, so people can choose what they want to run, smoke or regression. And then this is a variable here, right? So this is a test type. Test type is either this or that. So what I can do, I can copy this, and instead of hard coding the value here, we will say this value. I don't know this is the correct format. Let's first apply and save it, and let's write. Previously it was now build, now this is build with parameters. Now you have a drop down where you can choose whether you want to run smoke or regression, and then click on build it. Let's see whether this is working. If not, we'll change the format. Okay, so yeah, this seems to be working. It is trying to run the hyphen p. The test type is basically passed as regression, so it is ran two tests. Let's try to change it and let's check it once more. A build with parameters. This time I want to run the smoke. So this time also it is running two, which means this variable name is not feeded correctly. So let's go to my some other test, and then I'll check the. So here also, if you notice, this is another assignment where you can choose where you want to run, remote URL, local, where you want to run, what is the Docker Hub URL, all that thing you can say, and then click on build. Okay, you can configure all these things like this. But let's me go there and see what is the format. Okay, so I think you need to give percentage. Okay, so that's very important. So let's go to the dashboard, and then see guys, no one can remember all these things. Okay, so it's really hard if you cannot remember. So just make sure you google it or have some project ready made like this. So hyphen p, instead of that I'll just say percentage, and then test type. Okay, basically it should work. Let's go to the build with parameters, smoke test, and run it. So now if you notice, there is only one test running. So this test type is now a variable that is basically comes from this value. Okay, whatever you choose, it will run the testng.xml accordingly. Okay, if you want more profiles, you can create more profiles and you can add more options. Okay, so yeah, this is how you can create job in Jenkins and you can run your test. Okay, this is really cool. um, You can do a lot more than this. Okay, you can basically go to this project and then you can go to configure. If you want to run it on scheduled time every night at 10 p.m. I want to run it, then what you can do, you can click on this, go to build triggers, click on build periodically. You can, okay, when do you want so I want to run at 10 p.m. Okay, you don't understand if you give like this, so it is that is having a format that you need to follow. Okay, so just click on this, build periodically, and it will tell you provides a cron like feature to periodically execute this test. Okay, I don't know how to do that, so it doesn't understand how to do it. Let's click on this. So now here it is telling, hey, this is the format. First you have minute, hour, day of the month and day of the week. Okay, okay, they are doing like this all that thing. It's very confusing. Let's say they have also given some easy ways. Let's say I want to run this daily. Okay, at the rate daily, that's it. Okay, now it will run daily. If you also tell at the rate midnight, it will run every day at 12 p.m. At the rate hourly means it will run every hour. So they have given some examples. Okay, if you want to run it every 15 minutes, you copy this and paste it. If you want to run every 10 minutes in the first half of the every hour, so you can do all that. But for now we want to run it every day at 10 p.m. So you can just say how to schedule Jenkins job to run at 10 p.m. every night. Okay, you can do this, and then it will say some, you will get some answers. Okay, so you can copy that. So I just tried to get a job to launch at 4:42 and it worked following through it 30 seconds. So this is basically 4:42. Okay, let's copy this. Let's go to the Jenkins. So this basically runs for every day 4:42 it will run. For us it's 10 p.m. right? So we will give 22 and then 00. That's it. Now every day at 10 p.m. it will run it. Okay, if you click outside it will tell spread evenly at this rather than whatever then, and then it will tell it would have land 11 January 2022 at 10 p.m. and will run, and it will run next in the future at 12th January 10 p.m. So this particular cron job syntax will make sure that this job is running at every day at 10 p.m. So click on apply and then save. Now every time it will run, you will be having a doubt whether it will pick smoke or regression. Okay, whatever you have as the default that is in the top, it will be picked. Okay, when you are running it manually you can choose it, but if it is scheduled to run every night, then it will automatically pick the one on the top. Okay, good. So this is how you can run your job in Jenkins. I couldn't explain this with the help of Selenium framework because there were some issues. It will take some time to rectify, but we have created a very simple framework, created very simple tests to understand them. Any doubts so far?
Is it a freeware, Jenkins?
Jenkins has an enterprise edition. If you are, using it for your personal learning, yes, it is free. You can download the war file and run it. But if it is an enterprise edition, yes, that is a paid one.
My question is, I'm working with one company.
Mhm.
So my personal purpose, can I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
download and install? Can I run the jobs?
Can I run the jobs in your office machine?
Hmm.
I cannot comment on that. You need to check your security team.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Amudan, I don't think that will be allowed.
Yeah, that is not allowed. That's what I'm saying. So I cannot comment on that. I cannot comment is it yes or no, because that's very
Mhm.
skeptical question. I cannot comment. You need to
Uh,
secure your security team.
yeah, even one of my known was actually did, and he was escalated very badly. I would recommend do not do.
Don't do that. Yeah, that's what it has an enterprise edition. Let your company purchase it. Okay, they are earning in crores. Let them purchase a license. If you are running it on, see, I am just doing it for my learning. I am running it on my local host. Then that's everything is fine. Yeah.
Amudan, one question, like suppose I want to pass the browser at a runtime from the CMD, then like how where I will pass, like how I will where I will enter code.
Where you will enter the code. Okay, that's a very good question. So if you notice, this is an assignment that I have created, very simple Java program. So here you can pass everything. So whatever we pass from the command line, right, that will be treated as an environment variable. Okay, so you can pass it from there. So let me check where I have written the code. So let's go here. So you can basically pass those details from the command prompt also. That's not a problem. We can do that. But I'm just checking where I have written the code. Okay, I have some converters here. Let's say. So these values and all I am passing from. Just a minute. Run type converters. So if you notice, I'm just trying to get system.get property run mode.
Dot
Okay,
mode.
if they are trying to pass it from command line, I'm just trying to get it. If it is there, then I will use it. If it is not there, then I will check the run mode property in the properties file. Okay, and then I will check it. So first I will check whether the user is trying to give some values through the command prompt. If it is there, I will use it. Otherwise, I will check for the default values in the configuration files. Okay, so that's how we can basically write some codes. But yeah, you can just basically Google it. How can I pass system properties to a Maven program? Okay, you can just Google
So
it.
this run mode property, do we need to define it in the form, or directly it will, like, here we are writing the code and from the CMD when we give the command run mode value, it will take?
Yeah.
Because what I face the issue in Eclipse, when we can define the property, but in the IntelliJ we cannot define it.
No, you can define it. You can
Okay,
define it.
right.
I normally don't use that to define it, but yeah, you can basically have some settings here in IntelliJ that can help you to define it. Okay,
Okay.
there will be definitely ways. Okay, don't worry. So you have to go here and then modify run configuration. You have to say properties or somewhere here. I don't know, but you can basically define it here. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
There will be
Yeah, thank you,
ways
Amuthan.
definitely. Okay.
Yes, got it, Amuthan.
Okay. Any other doubts from anyone else? Okay, I
Muthan,
think yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was trying to run. I was trying to build that framework. So then one test is actually showing null pointer exception.
Okay, we
So
will
not
fix
sure
it.
either it was actually working fine first. Then I don't know what changes I have done. Then it stopped working after that. I'm
Okay,
not able to
no
figure it out.
problem. We'll see that after this.
Okay.
Anything from anyone else? If not, again, thanks all. I think we have came to an end of the course. Yeah, it is not really I cannot confirm that I have covered everything in Java that you need, but I can definitely confirm that I have given you enough basics that you can go ahead and learn more advanced concepts, or you can you should be in a good position to learn something new on your side. So thanks for choosing this course. I wish you all a happy and great career ahead. I hopefully I see you guys in very good position, in very good destination, and very good companies. Good luck with your career. Thank you, guys.